Hello and welcome to Connotation Points Video Snark. I read bad books and give you sarcastic commentary about what's going on. And today we're going to be starting on Shatter Me by, oh no, why do I keep doing this to myself, by Tahereh Mafi. As I open this book for the first time, I see that there's 50 chapters plus an epilogue. So I'll probably be doing several chapters every video just to get done with it with any sense of timeliness. I don't really have a whole lot of introduction for this book, so let's just jump right into it, shall we? Chapter 1. And because we're apparently going to be doing this, page 1, chapter 1, paragraph 1, sentence 1, I've been locked up for 264 days. I get that being locked up for any amount of time can seem rather cruel and awful, but in the grand scheme of things, 264 days is not that much. It's not even a full year, only a bit less than 9 months. Honey, come back and try again when it's been like 1,825 days. That's a much more impressive number. I normally don't show you direct quotes from my digital copy of the book, only just a fancy version that I gussied up for YouTube, but the formatting in this is special snowflake comes to mind. I don't know what to make of this, and I hope that it becomes clearer as the story progresses. So our unnamed character is locked up in a cell and has been for a little less than 9 months, as previously established. She was locked up for something that she insisted is out of her control and has been there ever since. And then we literally pause the narration on the first page in order for the author to wank off about the dystopian world that she's created. There aren't as many trees as there were before, is what the scientists say. They say that our world used to be green, our clouds used to be white. Hey, so you know that writing advice of show, don't tell? This is telling. Don't tell us that the clouds are no longer white. Have the main character look up at the sky and comment that the clouds are a sickly green color and that she's literally never known any other kind of cloud. Main character is excited to have somebody in the cell with her, if only because she's been alone this entire time. She thinks that it'll be great to have somebody to talk to. She falls asleep waiting for her new cellmate to show up and wakes up to a strange person standing over her. She's startled that he's a boy, and I've seen a lot of overly contrived plots in my day, and I feel like this is really taking the cake. She feels like this is some sort of intentional torture. Yes, the book uses the word torture. He's also hot, in case you were wondering if this is going to be the first young adult romance in which the romantic lead was anything but. The guy then literally shoves their two beds together and even takes the main character's pillow for himself. The main character is just so flabbergasted by this that she literally does nothing. She doesn't answer him when he asks for her name. And that's chapter 1. I mean, if you're going to write 51 chapters, the least you can do is write short chapters. I feel like this is a small mercy, at least. Chapter 2. The chapter opens with the still unnamed main character waxing poetically about the smell of rain and how it makes them feel alive. And, look, I'm down for books stopping for a moment to smell the roses, so to speak, but the problem is that there actually has to be an actual story. We are literally 3 pages in and the author is already slamming on the brakes. She also gives some more indication that her parents put her in there. It's just a throwaway line, one of those crossed-out sentences, but it also leaves the impression of old-fashioned mental hospitals where you could just dump your unwanted children and wife and be done with them. I'm wearing dead cotton on my limbs and a blush of roses on my face. His eyes scan the silhouette of my structure and the slow motion makes my heart race. I catch the rose petals as they fall from my cheeks, as they float around the frame of my body, as they cover me in something that feels like the absence of courage. Yeah, hi. What the does this mean? In between overly long paragraphs that are just a miasma of purple prose, the cellmate once again asks her what her name is. She ignores it and asks him why he's there. More purple prose. And, I hate this already, thanks. Their non-conversation is interrupted by the arrival of the breakfast. The unnamed dude reaches for his tray only to realize that, for some unholy reason, they superheat the metal or plastic or whatever the trays are made out of, and he burns his hand. She stares at the window and wishes so hard that she'll see a bird. Those are also something that aren't around much anymore. He touches her hand lightly and she freezes. She thinks about how she hasn't been touched once since she went in there, which, again, it's not really a long time. Granted, 9 months without physical touch is probably some form of emotional torture, but 9 months is legit not even that long in the grand scheme of things. We also get the hint that the words that are being crossed out are actually just things that she's writing and then literally just crossing it out. He asks what she's writing, but she ignores him. She finally tells him that he can't touch her, but inwardly she can't stop thinking about how she wants to be touched. The chapter ends with somebody coming to get them for shower time. Neither of the characters have names, and now we're 2 chapters into this. If the author was more focused on actual good writing instead of drowning everybody in unnecessary descriptions of concrete walls and endlessly wishing for the unnamed character to see a bird, maybe we could know what these characters are called. Chapter 3. Still unnamed main character explains to her new cellmate that when the doors open, it means that it's time to shower, but she also has to explain that they keep the lights off intentionally. I guess to prevent the prisoners from running off? I have no clue. He argues with her about going out into the abyss, but the doors will only be open for a short amount of time, and it's obvious that she's getting more than a little fed up with him. Unnamed main character tells the readers that this is technically a home for troubled youths, but crosses this out and says plainly that this is a prison. And then, because this book is trying to drown us in purple prose, will not shut up about the random sounds she constantly hears from the others there. But she also has this to say about this place. No one ever told me where the bathrooms and showers were located. No one ever told me how the system worked. No one speaks to you unless they're delivering bad news. No one touches you ever at all. Let me see if I understand this correctly. They open the doors at least once a day and just let the children run around. Granted, it's pitch black, but they're not locked up or anything. I get that this is a dystopia, but at the same time, there's a line between realistic hell and so completely and utterly out there because the author has lost all in any touch with reality. And let's just say that this is so far into the latter that you can't even see where it touches with reality. Unnamed main character continues on. Boys and girls never find each other. Never but yesterday. Ah yes, the trappings of a young adult dystopian romance, where despite the characters establishing that this should have never happened at all, it somehow happened. And I almost guarantee you that when we continue to read this series, there will be the flimsiest excuse as to why this happened. Unnamed main character feels her way along the walls, dragging her still unnamed cellmate by his shirt after her. They go to the showers where she finds soap and tries to give him some, but when he isn't there and he doesn't respond, she realizes that they're alone in the showers, and she knows that there are usually 1 or 2 others who will come in, but it's never empty, and she feels uneasy over the entire situation. She is now of the opinion that her cellmate was sent to murder her. Although why he'd wait until they'd left the room is beyond me. Shove him into the room, have him kill her, be done in like 5 minutes. Why the dog and pony show? I get that she's in a mental hospital, but still. Unnamed cellmate once again asks for her name, but which she continues to refuse to give him. Instead, she gives him the soap and tells him that he has 2 minutes. Which is just baffling to me. Like, these kids are already in horrendous conditions. By unnamed main character's own words, she herself sat in her own stink for the first 3 months because nobody cared enough about if she showered or not. She almost died of pneumonia because there aren't any towels and the cells are probably freezing all the time. At this point, it would probably be some kind of mercy if they stopped feeding the children and they just died. What exactly is the punishment for not returning to the rooms in under 2 minutes? What could they possibly do to these children that isn't currently happening to them? They shower quickly because there's no other choice. Unnamed main character has the art of a 90-second shower down to a science. Once they're finished, she leads her unnamed cellmate back to the room. Back there, unnamed character shivers in the corner of the room because her unnamed cellmate took everything that belonged to her. He finally takes pity on her and gives over both of the blankets. And then finally, he says that his name is Adam. Our unnamed main character does not say what her own name is, though, just yet. The only thing that she can think is that Adam is a nice name. Chapter 4. And, the chapter opens up on 80 instances of the still unnamed main character saying, "I am not insane." Got a little carried away with the copy-paste, did we? She wakes up to find Adam staring at her. She wonders if she screamed out in her sleep because of her nightmares. He asks if she's okay. She doesn't answer and only just thinks about how broken that he seems after about a day. She realizes that she still has Adam's liking and that he must be freezing, so she tries to give it back. When he tucks it back around her again, she thinks about how everybody stopped touching her. This is one of those passages that was completely crossed out. I still don't understand the significance of the crossed out words, but whatever. My parents stopped touching me when I was old enough to crawl. Teachers made me work alone, so I wouldn't hurt the other children. I've never had a friend. I've never known the comfort of a mother's hug. I've never felt the tenderness of a father's kiss. I'm not insane. Ah, yes, nothing quite like a good old-fashioned psychological torture via withholding physical touch, especially in a literal baby. Sounds good. She stares at him for a long time, and we get some more of that ungodly purple prose describing his muscles in the moonlight. Enum says that he's hot, which prompts concern from her. She almost offhandedly mentions being so sick for the first week when she arrived that she wasn't even certain how she even survived. Adam again asks for her name, and she continues to ignore him. Enum finally apologizes for his behavior the day before and once more asks for her name. Finally, after 4 chapters and 27 pages, she gives it, Juliet. She's insanely taken by the way that he says her name, which, considering the fact that she just admitted that not even her parents would touch her, I'm honestly not surprised that she's seeming to fall for the first person who shows her the tiniest bit of compassion. And there we have it, the first 4 chapters of Shatter Me. Overall, we're off to a rocky and confusing start that's already trying to drown us in purple prose. To say that I have low expectations for the rest of the book and forget about the series is an understatement. But, as always, sometimes the start of a new book can be a little tricky to navigate, what with needing to start slow to introduce characters and setting. So we'll just have to see where this takes us. Thanks for listening to my book Snark on YouTube. New videos are up every Monday, but stick around because sometimes I drop random videos on other days too. Just as a reminder, even if you can't financially support me, there are other ways to support me. The first is watching this video as well as all of my other videos. It's also important to like and subscribe. Finally, you can share this video with all of your friends so that they can help as well. If you're already caught up with all of my videos, you can go to Tumblr for my main book Snarks, always free and updated every morning. And if you've already read all of my main Snarks, then you can find even more Snarks on my Patreon. You can access it for $1 a month. Plus, you also get early access to my main Tumblr Snark. Special thanks to Dawn, Phoebe, and Nikki for supporting me on Patreon already. If you want to hear your name in my video next week, either support me on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Do you like my Snark so much that you want me to snark your writing? I do that too. For just $3 per chapter, I will tell you how awful that your writing is. But not to worry if you feel like you couldn't take the criticism. I also offer regular book editing as well. $3 for every 5,000 words. You can contact me on any of my social media platforms if you have further questions. If you want to read some of the things that I've written, you can purchase my works on Amazon. I have a slew of erotic short stories and one full-length novel. I also sometimes run flash sales on my stories, and if you don't follow me on any social media, you might want to do that just so you know when I might be offering more things for free. Links for everything will be posted below. See you next week, guys.